What's up guys, I am Ace and as promised this is another video for beginners Diabolo tricks and stuff. Okay, so you probably remember this video I made many years ago, I think it was many years ago, that I explained the criteria based on which you choose your first Diabolo when you have to start as a beginner. Okay, so I promised I would do a full revamp of all the previous videos I did, so this is the best place to start, I figured. So, okay, in this video, which is going to be pretty long, and I generally don't intend to make long videos, but this has to be a long one because I will try to cover pretty much anything you need to know when you have to start the Diabolo and how to choose what to get, so you can start anyway. So let's get this party started. Playing the Diabolo consists of three major parts, which obviously is the Diabolo itself, the string and the sticks, so I will cover all three of those topics. When you have to choose your first Diabolo, you generally want to keep it cheap, because you don't know if you want to keep on playing, if you're going to like it, and which your style is going to be, and what do you want. You have to choose based on your style and how you feel more comfortable and stuff like that. So you probably want something cheap to scout things off. So this is Diabolo made of full plastic. This is the one I started playing with, my first one. This one is obviously my sister's. I would never play with a pink one, but we got the same one, so this is the model. It is made of full hard plastic and it was really cheap, costed about 4 euros at the time, which was about 5 years ago. I believe the price should be pretty much the same now. So there's not a specific brand on it, made in China obviously, and it is good to start things off. As you can see, this whole area where the string passes is pretty wide, pretty large, so it makes it easy to control, and it is a good way to learn how to control your Diabolo and all those things. Of course, the major drawback is it breaks easily. As you can see here, it has already broken. It can break from an impact if it hits the floor many times, or I don't know. But generally, by the time it breaks, it will be well worth its money, because you will have already gotten to know the Diabolo, you learn a few basic tricks, and most of all learn what suits you best in order to choose your next one. So if you want to skip buying one of these, it is okay. You can start with a professional, as I like to call them, Diabolo. So I'm gonna show you what I have. What it matters most when you have to buy a Diabolo is to figure out what size you want it to be, and then what material you want it made of. This one, as we already explained, is made of hard plastic. There are others made from harder plastic, which are tougher to break, and they have many layers of it, so this one is a good option as well. There are rubber-made Diabolos, like the one I'm going to show you now, which is the type I prefer. They are steel-made Diabolos, made of steel or generally metal, because people want to do tricks with fire on them, and of course rubber is not resistant to fire, but steel and metal in general is. And there are some wooden ones. There are a lot of types. Okay, so what I have here is a rubber-made Diabolo. I believe it is the best type for me because it is flexible, which means it never breaks, or almost never. I don't know, you have to try really hard to break one. So they tend to stay for a long time. Okay, when you buy one, you will keep it for a long time, that's for sure. It is good on bouncing, when it bounces on the floor for a few tricks. Of course, the rubber ones are the best for this kind of job. Okay, so this one in particular is made by Mr. Babace. This is the company, and the type is the Finesse. All Finesse Diabolos have the same aspects. This one in particular is the Finesse Moon model, because it has the ability to glow in the dark, but it doesn't matter. All Finesse Diabolos have the same specs, as I already stated. Its size is medium, which is another factor you have to consider. Mostly big Diabolos, the large ones, get speed more easily, so they can spin a lot easier and at faster speeds, and of course they are easier to control. When you go on the medium ones, they are a bit harder to control. You have to try to give them speed, but generally you can use them for many more tricks. The large ones are not so convenient for some types of tricks. And plus, if you want to play at home, which is what I am doing, I think your parents, if you're living with your parents, will not appreciate you playing with a big Diablo, because you increase the chances of breaking something. So, in my opinion, the medium size is a good size to start in general, and this one is a very good model to have in mind. This one has served me for many years and never had a particular problem with it. Okay, there are also other sizes. I don't have any other material to show you. Okay, I showed you the plastic, the rubber. I don't have Diablos made of the other material. What I can show you is a difference in size. This one is a tiny size Diabolo. It is made by Henry, if I'm not mistaken, because I bought it many years ago, and its type is the birdie one. Okay, I'm gonna take it closer to the camera so you can see. It has a surface pretty much like a golf ball, so this makes it really resistant to air currents. If you want to play outside and there is a lot of air blowing, this Diabolo is not going to be taken by the air, it's going to remain steady. So this is its good aspect. On the other hand though, it is very tough to control. It is small in size, so if you make a high toss and try to catch it, it is really tough to do so. Many tricks are also hard because it can easily fall off the string, and of course, as you can see here, the part where the string goes is really narrow, so this makes it tough to control in general. So I do not recommend something like that. If you are a beginner, it's okay. If you want to play in closed spaces or in your house, if you live in a house with not a lot of space, but I do not recommend it for a beginner because it is really tough to control and you will find it very frustrating to try and control it. Okay, so I think this pretty much covers the whole Diabolo thing, so I'm going to move on to the sticks. The sticks is another area you have to consider because it is really up to your style, what you prefer, how you play, what you lack and what you do best, and all those things you have to consider buying the proper sticks for it. So if you're a total beginner, I think the wooden sticks are a-okay. They are a simple piece of wooden sticks, so it's not pricey at all. It's actually really cheap, and it is good to start things off and learn the aspects of the Diabolo. Of course, the drawback is that as you keep on playing, those wooden sticks are going to start bending, and at some point they may even break, so they are not very resistant as you keep on playing in time, but they're a good thing to start things off, get to know the Diabolo and the way you use the sticks, and then buy the appropriate one. So as the Diabolo, so the sticks are made of different materials. Some are made of hard plastic, as already stated, which is a really good material. I believe it is very close to the wooden ones and they are much more resistant to breaking. There are others such as these ones. These are the carbon sticks made from Henry. This is the manufacturer, and this is a really good type of sticks. Actually, for me, it's one of the best. Its greatest aspect is its ability to bend. They bend rather easily, so you will find playing with those sticks really enjoyable, though it has two drawbacks. For me, the one is that they tend to break easily. This is actually my second pair. My first pair broke, and they break almost as easily as the wooden ones, if not easier, because they are very thin, and as you can see, they are cylindrical, and the whole axis consists of a hole because the string passes throughout the entire stick and is tied at the back. So this makes them easily breakable, and another drawback is that because they are tied to the back of the stick, you have to pass string throughout the entire area, so this means you have to use a lot more string to be able to play with those sticks than you do with others. Of course, strings don't cost all that much, but this is a price factor you have to keep in mind. So this is a model of very good sticks, though It's also good for beginners, though I believe the beginners should start with something more steady, be it wooden sticks or even steel type or metallic in general, which is what I'm going to show you now. This is another Henry's model, and they are metal sticks. Those are really good, though there is one great aspect about them, of course. Since they are metallic, they do not break, ever. There is no way you can break something like that. You really have to try, and you have to try with, I don't know, other means, a chainsaw or something. There is no way those sticks are going to break, there's no way those sticks are going to bend unless heated. If you put close to a fire or something, they're going to hit and then be bendable, but aside from that, if you don't really try, they're never going to break. Of course, they're very good for beginners, because beginners are going to need something really steady, something that doesn't bend, in order to learn how to control the Diabolo first, and then try to be more fluid and more flexible with their sticks. Of course, if you want to keep on playing for hours and hours, if you want to keep playing for a long time, those are definitely not your type, because they are heavy for once, which may not seem like much. It is just a few grams, but if you keep on playing for, say, an hour or two, this is going to start making a difference. Also, because they are not bendable, they are very hard. That means all the power of the Diabolo and the motion is going to be transferred straight to your arms. No such force is going to get mitigated, of course, on those ones. Since they are bendable, a lot of the force of the Diabolo is getting mitigated and not transferred to your body. With these, it's getting transferred, so you can, it's more stressful to your hands. You're going to get tired more easily. Okay, I think this covers the part of the stick, so let's move to the string. The string, there's really only one type of string that Diabolo uses. It is, as you can see, very thin. I'm gonna take it closer to the camera. It is mildly waxed, which you can discover if you try and burn it. It lights like a candle, which means it is waxed, so it minimizes the fracture it gets from the Diabolo when playing. Usually you want to have a lot spare string, because this one gets burned up pretty easily, and by burned up I don't mean by fire, like I did to test how waxed they are, but they, as the fracture keeps on going and as you play with the Diabolo, the wax is going to go away and it's going to start to not be so good, and you will notice that the Diabolo stacks at a few points, and when the Diabolo gets stuck, sometimes string will get wrapped up or things like that. So you need to have a bit of spare string in order for you to change it up if you notice something like that. Other than that, it is a great string to play with. Any type is fine, actually, so there are many brands and many types, but they're all pretty much the same. What is the main difference between them is the colors. There's not really much to talk about on this. What I'm going to show you, because we have a few more minutes on the video until it gets to 15, is what the appropriate length is if you want to be a beginner. So I'm going to stand up and pretty much show you what is the proper length. Okay, so if you're a beginner, the best length to have on the string is the string has to start. I'm gonna put the stick right on the floor, so the string starts from my feet, and as you can see in the camera, or you cannot, but you can probably almost see, the length of the Diabolo is pretty much the height of my shoulder. So this is the standard length you want to keep your string at if you are a beginner. You can of course go with shorter or longer, but I believe that for beginners this is the best length to have. It is the length where you can control your Diabolo the best and the easiest, of course. So the height of the string has to be about your shoulder height, and I think that's pretty much it. I think this covers everything. So this was a rather long video, sorry about that. The next ones are going to be really short, and from the next video and on, we're going to start learning some Diabolo tricks for beginners. Until then, I am Ace, have a good time, bye!